right, sport mode, hold the brake, 2,000 RPM. Oh God, oh my God. Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I'm driving a 2017 Infiniti Q50. Up front is a 3.0 liter twin turbocharged V6 and down below is a 7-speed automatic gearbox. Now first let's talk about that twin turbo V6. Well, that's a good combo. Twin turbos and a V6, that's a good combo. That's a fun combo, and I'm learning that as I'm driving it. Now, power output says to be somewhere in the 3s, but David has some mods on his car, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But paired to that 3.0 liter V6 twin turbo is a 7-speed automatic gearbox, which you can plus minus if you want to. But really, I have no complaints. This thing is shifting real quick. And then at the end of that transmission, the power is sent to all 4 wheels. It's an all-wheel drive car, and you really feel that when you hit the gas. And this car does have an exhaust, but it sounds phenomenal. It really sounds throaty. It's not horribly loud. It still retains some of that luxury car sound, but oh God, I could get in a lot of trouble in this car. So let's talk about the interior. Well, there's actually a lot to talk about with the interior. First of all, the gauges are blue, and they kind of have these like little accents coming off them. They're like little edges, which kind of look weird to me, but whatever. It doesn't really fit with luxury, which I thought this car was going to be more luxury, but it might not be, as I'm kind of figuring out. In between the 2 gauges, you get a screen which can be changed to your liking. It can show tire pressure, MPG, compass, whatever you want. And that's actually really helpful. And that's controlled by the right-hand side of the steering wheel. There's 2 little buttons that help you switch through the menus. On the steering wheel on the left, you get your voice controls, phone controls, radio controls, that sort of thing. And on the right, you get cruise control and that sort of thing. To the left of me, you get power seats and memory seats. Memory seats is really nice to have, especially when I do these reviews, because I always feel bad messing up people's settings. But it's really nice. I can move it wherever, and then when David gets back in his car, just hits 1 and it goes back to his settings. In the center dash, you get a giant GPS, which is a touchscreen, but it kind of feels like a 2005 touchscreen, if I'm honest. It's not super responsive. I don't know if it's because it doesn't feel like glass. Maybe that's it, but it's not super responsive. It's not great, but it is a touchscreen. But the map can be controlled by a dial right behind the shifter, which is what I'd recommend. I'd recommend doing that over the touch, just because it really isn't great. The touchscreen is not great. Down below the GPS, you get a giant touchscreen, which you can circle through all your apps. You can actually, there's an app for your fuel mileage, your economy rating, which this gets a 40 out of 100, which is not a passing grade, but this car is too fun to get a passing grade. There's your phone, information, radio, all those sorts of settings go in that touchscreen, which is really nice. To the sides of the touchscreens, you get your climate controls. Again, super nice. The air conditioning in this car is great. Again, it is a 2017. If it were broken, there would be a huge issue. Down below the touchscreen, you get your radio controls, then you get your heated seat options, your hazard signals, and then a little cubby hole that is way bigger than it probably needs to be, but that's okay. And then, of course, you get the shifter, plus minus, that sort of thing. You get that dial I was talking about, and then you also get your mode button. That'll switch you between comfort, sport, and those different kinds of modes. This car also has a CD player, which I was talking about in the BMW 440i I reviewed. I thought CD changers, or really CDs in cars, would be phased out by now, but I guess not. Another nice feature is that when you put it in reverse, a backup camera comes on and the mirrors lower so you can see the ground. That's a really nice feature. So, going back to that sport button, or really the drive mode button, which will lead you to sport mode. This car sort of has a launch control, so I'll demonstrate that now. Okay, so for launch control, we're gonna put it into sport. Left foot on the brake, get it up to 2,500 RPM. I feel it squatting, and then go. Oh, whoa. Whoa, that's a lot. Okay, hold on, we're gonna have to do that one again. All right, left foot on the brake, 2,500 RPM. Wow, that is impressive. That feels like a Hellcat. That acceleration, that feeling that you get, that all-wheel drive just really, I'm actually at a loss for words. That is phenomenal. I've never really felt acceleration that good. Basically, this car is not slow in any way. David says that he's timed the 0 to 60 with the tune that he has on it. He has a boost controller. With that, the boost has been bumped up about 5 psi to about 14 psi in the twin turbos. He said that he clocked it at about 4.7 seconds. And you know what? I really have to believe him, because this thing pulls. And like I said that it's kind of like a Hellcat. And really the difference in feeling between this and the Hellcat is it feels like when you gun the Hellcat, it's like 10 punches to the chest. But this car, it feels like 2 guys are punching you in the chest 5 times. It's the same amount of punches, but it's different. There is no slipping with this car. There isn't any. The all-wheel drive is such a great system, and all-wheel drive today is really amazing. It used to be that Subarus kind of had it down, and that was it. That was, if you want a good 4-wheel drive or good all-wheel drive, you got a Subaru or Jeep. They really have it down. But now, most auto manufacturers have pretty great all-wheel drive systems, and this car is no exception. Finishing off the interior of the car, the back seat is amazing. The seats are amazing. They're leather, they're really nice, they're very comfortable. I remember when David once, back when I had just met him, he picked me up, and I remember I got in, and I was like, wow. That was the first thing that I was like, wow, this is a nice car. And I remember we were driving it through the rain, not slipping at all, and he was not being nice to the accelerator, and we weren't slipping at all. And I remember we parked it, and we were sitting in our friend's garage. We were working on his Miata at the time, and I watched the rain just come off the front of the car, and it just looked majestic. I love the look of this car. I like it so much I got out of the car for it. I mean, just look at these swooping lines coming around the back of the car. While it kind of looks like every other Nissan and Infiniti, there's just something about it that's a little different. But it gets better around the front. I really like the angular look of the car. The hood angles coming around this way that directs water down towards the front when it's raining. The headlights are super aggressive, but then again, classy. It just looks great. So I want to say that this is a 4-door GTR. Because, I mean, really, the engines aren't that different. They're both twin-turbo V6s. I know the GTR has a larger displacement and obviously is quicker, but they have all-wheel drive. They're from Nissan. I want to say, if I were to sum this down to a car, it really seems like a GTR that's 4-door. But I haven't ever driven a GTR. I've never reviewed an R35 GTR, Godzilla. I've never driven one of those. So until I do, I have to imagine this is what it's like. But again, I can't precisely put my finger on it. This thing is just, it's not scary. That's the thing, is that I really don't feel scared in this car. Putting my foot all the way down, we're at the speed limit, I'm not scared. Like, the Hellcat, I wasn't scared either. And that just goes to show modern cars know how to party, because it's amazing to me that I can have so much power sent to all 4 wheels and not be nervous about it, or not be scared about it, or really be comfortable. And that's the thing, is that, again, I'm going to go back to comparing it to the Hellcat, because it's really the only car I've driven that feels this way, that feels like this much power. The Hellcat was kind of purpose-built, is that Chrysler wanted to make a car that was more powerful than any of the competitors, and I get that. But this car feels very similar and is made for a totally different purpose. This is supposed to be the higher end, very luxury car. I picture like a businessman. He gets in his Infiniti Q50 at the end of the day, and he drives home to see the missus. I would really like to see a Hellcat face off against this car. Now, I know the Hellcat that I drove, the best time, before you guys leave a comment, let me say this. This is not faster than a Hellcat. The Hellcat will probably beat this car. Actually, I'm sure it will. But I'm saying the feeling of when you get on the accelerator and it kind of takes your breath away, that feels similar to me. When I floor it and literally everything I'm saying goes away, That's what this car does. That's what the Hellcat did. And the first time I ever felt that was in a Hellcat was when I floored it, and literally every single thought in my head escapes me except for keep this thing straight and hold on tight. And that's what I feel in this car. When I floor it in this car, when I do the launch control in this car, everything leaves my mind and I think, keep this car straight and hold on tight. That's the only thing that crosses my mind. I'm not thinking about how hot it is in here because I have to film this with the AC off so that the audio isn't great, which I'm going to turn the AC on. I'm sorry, guys. I've been turning it on and off this whole review. I can't do it. I'm dying, dude. It's 92 degrees today. I'm not thinking about how long this review should be. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just thinking about keeping the car straight and holding on. Let's just see what other drive modes are like. All right, so we have personal, which you could set, standard, eco, or snow. All right, let's throw it in eco. Now, my big fault with the BMW 440i was that when you put it in eco mode, it shut off at stoplights. So there's a stoplight coming up. We are going to test it. That will solidify if I truly love this car. If it doesn't turn off at the stoplight to save gas, then I truly love this car. So let's see here. Pulling up to a stoplight. We have come to a stop. It's still running. It's still running. I love the Infiniti Q50. I really do. Normally, at this part in the video, I'd be saying the faults that I have with the the faults that I have with the car. I'm really not finding any. The main fault that I could think of right now, if someone's like, what's the fault with the Q50? I would say, the touchscreen. The touchscreen on the navigation, slow. It's bad. I don't like it. But the touchscreen right below it, perfectly normal and perfectly fine. It's just that top touchscreen, it honestly feels like a touchscreen from the 2000s. It doesn't feel good. You know what? I did find one other thing that I don't like about this car is that it's a little loud while driving on louder roads. You guys can hear it now. I have to raise my voice a little bit. I'll turn this microphone up. But that's not killer. That's not a deal breaker. It's a little louder than I would have liked, or it's a little bit louder than the BMW I drove or other luxury cars I've been in. Again, not a deal breaker. It's a little bit louder. And again, I am far from disappointed. Disappointed isn't even a blip on my terrible touchscreen GPS. I am not disappointed at all. That's what I'm trying to say, is that in no way, shape, or form is this car disappointing. It's the quite opposite. I'm very happy with this. I'm very surprised by this. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. I hope you guys learned something about the 2017 Infiniti Q50. But again, hope you guys enjoyed it. You can read my written review down below. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys. There goes a sight from my soul.